especially this, because as many of you know, we've been watching the murder of Jessica Alva. A lot of people know Jessica Alva as Jessica Rhoades on Facebook, but in reality, her name was Jessica Alva, and basically, her death just happened on Saturday, and this has been a pretty intense story, and I've really felt for this family because they don't seem like they've been getting much attention. Jessica's mother, Cindy Martin-Wolfe, actually made a post on April 2nd, I think it was. I believe it was on Tuesday. And that post was shared in her last post because I guess that was removed. She said that it was shared around 800,000 times, which I believe that one of the last times I saw it was over 100,000 times had been shared. And it went really, really viral. But Facebook took down that post. This is the original post. I still have it. I actually used it in a video that's been being shared a couple days ago. But so on April 2nd, Cindy Martin-Wolfe posted these three pictures, and the post read, "I'm at the San Francisco Trauma Hospital with my middle daughter, Jessica. She's in intensive care on life support as a result of domestic violence. Her body is covered with bruises, her head has large knots, and she was strangled to death. The EMTs took 3 tries to get her heart beating again. She still cannot breathe on her own. She is on a respirator and has been put in a cold coma to try to restart her brain function. They will slowly warm her up while monitoring her brain. When possible, they will slowly wake her to see how much damage has been done. This is how her boyfriend, Clayton Rhoades, shows her he loves her. He is on the run. Her children are in CPS custody. I will go to court to get them on Friday. Our family is devastated, waiting to see if we will have our beautiful lady back. We all must do more together. We must stop this whore. Please keep Jessica and our family in prayer. I will post updates when anything changes. Thank you all from my heart to yours. I am sharing pictures of her to be shared with any girls who may be dealing with this or headed in this direction. She would want to show them what they are facing. Thank you." So Cindy posted these pictures as basically a warning to people in abusive relationships. She got, like I said, they were shared hundreds of thousands of times. Then they were just recently removed, which is, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't really, like, local media's never, from what I know, haven't really hopped on it. There wasn't a lot of police bulletins for Clayton when he was out. For the most part, it looks like social media users and myself are basically the only people reporting on this. And that's definitely, I don't know, it's a little unbelievable just with how much attention that she got. Normally when you see something get 100,000 shares, other outlets start reporting on it and whatnot. So it was just kind of weird that she really didn't, or they really didn't grab this one like that. So last I knew, they were trying to get that post back up though, but we're going to go through this piece by piece just in case anybody doesn't know what's happened through the whole thing. So the internet very quickly began the hunt for Clayton Rhoades, which that in itself almost became a problem. Rhoades was Clayton Rhoades on Facebook, but it was spelled with a K, just like Jessica Alva. Her name on Facebook was Jessica Rhoades, but it was with a K, Jessika. That's how most people knew her on Facebook. But her family has corrected the name multiple times. I'm guessing that they probably don't want the name associated with Clayton for obvious reasons. Now with Clayton, another piece of confusion was his name isn't spelled with a K. I don't know if that was like an inside joke thing, or not a joke, but just like an inside thing between Jessica and Clayton where they both had the C's in their names changed over to K. I'm not really sure what that was about, but that's what they both had done for Facebook appearances at least. And another way of verifying that was after a very, very long search. And that's not actually what I wanted to show you. After a long search, like, I don't know if Shasta County, California just keeps terrible records or what, but finding his background was definitely a pain in the ass, especially with it being over the weekend. I don't think we really got, because something wasn't clicking with me when we couldn't find anything with Clayton with a K. And I think it was yesterday finally I started looking around more, and there was this 35-year-old Clayton Trevor Rhoades. And finally, we were able to connect enough of the breadcrumbs to realize this is the Clayton. This is him. And in 2013, he actually went to jail. A lot of people had said that he just got out in January. We're still not sure what that charge is for, because the only place I could find with any information on that charge is what you're seeing right here. And all it says was that in 2013, it was a criminal felony. Now, it does say also at the bottom, though, that his probation was denied. And so that there's a lot of belief that he's just been in jail since 2013 to now. I haven't really bothered the family much at this point. I've been able to gather enough basic information to cover this as far as it needs to be covered at the moment. I don't normally like hounding people right after a tragedy like this, so I try and give them some space. The only time that I really go directly to them if it's absolutely necessary. And with this, I've talked to enough of other people that I'm not going to put a lot of those sources out there, just because I like to keep my sources private. Most people like that. But this was put together over the last few days as this kind of unfolded in front of everybody. So Clayton actually was still on his Facebook even after all of this started coming out, that he had done this to Jessica, or allegedly done it to Jessica. We'll give the benefit of the doubt right now. But, like, for instance, he made this post update afterwards on April 4th, and he actually had his phone number on his Facebook, and he was answering phone calls for people. A few people in the comments said that he answered the phone for him. But he just shared out a profile picture change. It was kind of an odd post. And then I think it was either on Friday or Saturday, he made it to where people could no longer comment on his posts and whatnot, because he was getting flooded with a lot of different hate. And that add friend button's been pulled away and all of that. It wasn't until Saturday that Jessica's sister, Marlena, actually made a post. Actually, I think it was Friday night. Jessica's mother made a post asking people to pray for Jessica. And then Saturday, word came out that Jessica had passed away from a source that was outside the immediate family. And they weren't actually all that thrilled about it, which is understandable. But on Saturday, Jessica's sister, Marlena, confirmed that she had passed away. And that post read, "I humbly ask that my plea and message be shared. Yes, to be short, my sister has begun her journey to the spirit world. My family and I are completely devastated, and I very firmly request that my sister, first of all, get a long moment of silence and prayers. I understand that you all want to show your support and share love. However, my mother should have been the first to let this information out, or my immediate family, when we were ready. That being said, it is out, and I would ask that everyone give proper respect to the situation, because this is super fresh and we are having an extremely tragic event unfold in public now. My family needs more privacy than everyone is giving right now. We are being overloaded with messages and calls and questions, and as humans, I need everyone to give my family a little breathing room to grieve. Pray and take our moment of silence. Please hear and understand my words, that this was not supposed to be viral right now, and some of our immediate families still have not been informed. Please, everyone, give us this, as some of us are still sleeping, even because there's been no rest or break for my family since Tuesday morning. I say these words to you all in hopes of protecting our last moments with my sister. I beg you to wait till my mother or a member of my family makes a statement or post on the situation, as when my family, Jessica Alva's family, does put out our posts, then and only then will we be ready to speak on this tragedy. If you truly care, you'll grant our requests and think about if this was your family and how you would protect and try to shelter them in this aftermath also. Thank you. Aho. So, Saturday was the confirmation that Jessica passed away, and again, it looks like it came out from sources outside the family a couple hours before this post was made, which that's kind of a blessing and a curse with stuff like this going viral. Good things do happen from social media. There's a lot of missing people that are found. There's criminals that are wanted that are found. It is a very powerful tool. One downside to that, though, is when something goes viral, there's normally not a happy medium. There's people feel very entitled to information. They feel like their opinion on the situation matters more, and I'm not saying that it doesn't. You get attached watching these things. It's almost become like real life movies that you watch through social media, and so you get a certain attachment to the people you're watching in this. There was a lot of people that were rooting for Jessica and that she would come through, especially because she has children. So it's understandable. The good side and the bad side are both understandable. As far as I know, though, the family's still kind of wanting their piece in the situation. So after that, it does turn out that there is a little bit of good news, and we'll try and explain this. There's still some confusion on this, and I cannot tell you 100% for sure, but I can tell you my take on it. Around 12, what was it? Midnight 12:13 this morning, Sunday morning, Clayton Trevor Rhoades was arrested, and he is currently in jail in San Francisco County Jail 2, and he's being held without bond for a parole violation. Now, this is the part that I'll kind of try and break down. A lot of people are asking why he isn't charged for murder yet. So I'll tell you as far as I know right now and what it looks like right now. With his current hold and with his hold on probation, that's not that unusual if they are planning on charging him with the murder of Jessica Alva. So what that probation hold is going to do is basically give police and the district attorney time to put their case together, and I would expect by like midweek you're going to watch his charges change and they'll be added on and whatnot. The actual parole violation, I believe, and again, this is my take on it. I've covered these sort of stories for a pretty good amount of years now, and this is my take on it. And I'll also let you know what's being said. I'm still waiting to talk to the mother and Cindy, and even really like I said, they've been through a tragedy. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to the district attorney and see what they have to say, see if they have a comment on it at this point, or if they're still going to need to wait before they can make any sort of public statement. But what I'm being told as of now is that it was not just Clayton and Jessica in Jessica's San Francisco apartment the day that she was choked to death. So according to a lot of people on social media, his sister, Charlie, was actually there at the scene. Now, people are saying that Clayton actually stuck around on the scene until the EMS showed up. And then the other thing being told is that they initially said that it was self-inflicted injury. So the first thing with Charlie is on Facebook, she goes by this Sharlee. It's the same as Clayton. That's not her real name either. We actually found a 2012 arrest of Charlie, and that was for petty theft back in 2012. So I was also sent a few screenshots, though, and this has to do with the initial incident. The first, and these are messages that were sent to me anonymously, but right now, and I have seen this on, because even though Cindy, the mom's post, was the main one that went viral and really went out there, there's multiple posts that have gotten their own attention. There's been a lot of them. So I was sent these two, which I have seen this going around on several of these posts that are getting a lot of comments, a lot of talk. And that's what it is right now. These are just alleged. But I will say on top of these messages, I'll also show you the conversation that me and Charlie actually had. So that's why I definitely feel a little more comfortable showing everything, because she reached out while I was putting this together. I basically pre-build all of these lives before they go on. So she actually started messaging me just before, or while I was working on this, while I was putting her screenshots up, she started messaging the page. So in the first message it says, the sister is the one giving false information. She backed up his story saying it was self-inflicted when it wasn't. That's why the paramedics took her in the ambulance, and they both were allowed to stay in the apartment and clean up the crime scene. His sister, and this is the second message, his sister, who is also there at the time, just sent me a friend request, so she's still out there and hasn't been picked up. And the response to his sister was involved too. I will get a poster out for her if she was. I thought he was just hanging with her after the fact. So the story right now is that they called 911, and a lot of people are saying that she's actually the one that called, and they said that it was a self-inflicted injury, that she had just, I'm guessing, tried to claim that she had hung herself or choked herself in some manner. But it wasn't until later that they started noticing the knots in the head and these other injuries and whatnot. So it sounds like what happened was they took her to the hospital and were trying to save her. They didn't really mess around with them too much. And what I've been told is by the time the police came back to arrest Clayton, they'd already left. So that's allegedly how everything has went on up to this point. I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but I've been told enough, and I've talked to enough people that I feel comfortable at least bringing it up. I feel comfortable addressing it. Let's just say that. Again, it's allegedly, but it's enough to be addressed. So, as I said, Charlie actually started messaging me. And this is the message exchange that we had. And it really didn't make me feel any more comfortable, or I don't feel like she's any more innocent after that conversation. Let's say that. Yeah. So she messaged, hello, I would like to speak to you about false information and the bad investigative journalism on your behalf. Please contact me. I've spoke with law enforcement about the incident that you're covering. I find this video to be slanderous, and you need to speak to the direct source or at least check the facts. I find it incredibly unprofessional as well as just lazy that you would actually take this time to report phony and false news. This is pure propaganda at best. And then we have an automatic reply system. So the first reply is just an automatic reply that says, thanks for messaging us. We try to be as responsive as possible. We'll get back to you soon. And she replied, hello. Now, one thing you have to remember is I've been doing this for a lot of years. Countless people, countless. This is, while the crime or whatever they're doing may slightly vary, obviously this one's a little bit more heavy than normal. I hear this I've heard this stuff for years. And normally when somebody starts off just saying that, accusing me of slander, and I published all this fake stuff, but they're not saying like, hey, you got this wrong, and actually being specific about something, I normally automatically go on defense. Because so far I haven't had one of those people turn around to be innocent or even tell me what was false. And that's kind of came out to be the same situation here. So I put back, exactly what is it you find to be false, Charlie? I'm more than willing to talk to you. I was actually sent screenshots saying that you were there when this occurred. Oh, sorry about that. Wrong one. She responded, I don't understand. Instead of screenshots, why don't you speak to a direct source? Someone who is actually there, or law enforcement. I see nothing that references legitimate law enforcement statements or any respectable news outlet. That makes sense now. Screenshots are what you based your video on. It just blows my mind how it seems as if you are trying to pursue justice and advocate for domestic violence, but in comment postings and inbox messages, I read death threats. And because failure to speak as a credible source about this horrific event our family has and is currently going through Facebook, are using this video to promote violence against my brother and myself. I no longer feel safe in my own community. And I responded back, that does not explain what was falsely reported. Was your brother involved in Jessica's death? She put back, if you're going to have my name in your mouth, make sure when one of your followers or Facebook friends takes matters into their own hands and my brother or myself is injured or harmed, it only be the right thing to do a video for us. I responded with, I have never encouraged followers to do anything. I only addressed what is already public knowledge. So again, feel free to let me know what has been falsely reported. Like, were you the one that called 911? I'm more than happy to release a correction, but you have to be able to show me what needs to be corrected, Charlie. You don't encourage your followers to do anything. Why don't you encourage them to not freely speak of harming my brother and myself before one of us is hurt and wouldn't help the situation? But you know what? I just would appreciate if you could take down the comments with violence or threats or injury. Which I don't condone that. You guys shouldn't fucking do threats or anything. Obviously, that should be said. You know, at this point, law enforcement involved. Throwing away your own life to go to jail over it, you know, don't do that. But I mean, aside from that, you guys are your own people. I'm not gonna sit there and hold your hands and say be nice in the comment sections. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. I responded, I can do that, but you still have not answered. Were you there that day and did you call 911? I remind you, at this point, I still haven't been told what I'm reporting falsely. Again, that's a red flag to me. If somebody just comes at me spitting out slander, saying that I'm doing all this stuff wrong, but can't tell me what I'm doing wrong, once again, it's a red flag. She responded back, but you're too worried about getting your story across TC, which maybe, I'm not even sure what word she meant there. Instead of understanding that the reason I'm sending you this message is because my physical safety, as well as my brother, I'm not asking you to care about what I'm going through or even give a fuck about the facts, but please, violence is not part of my life, and I feel that anything you can do to prevent, you should. So now, all of a sudden, the reason for her messaging me is no longer that I reported falsely. It's that she's getting threats, which, again, that's out of my control. I've never condoned anybody hurting anybody, never done any of that. 100% out of my control. People are adults. I don't think you should do it, all that good stuff. But, you know, this is stuff that's out of my control. The video she's talking about has over 100,000 views, and I don't know how many comments, so I can't just go in there. It's not practical for me to go in there and find every mean comment and go and delete them. There's way better times, or way better use of my time than that. I responded back to her when she was talking about her and her brother's physical safety with, what about Jessica's physical safety? And she put, that is just straight up disrespectful as well as disgraceful to use someone who you don't even know in a smart remark to get a reaction out of. Which that was never the purpose of that. I was being dead honest when I said that. Here I got this person who is telling me that her and her brother aren't safe after they went viral with pretty horrid allegations of killing a woman, killing a mother. Remind you, she has 6 children. There was no care of her physical safety when this was happening. So, as it stands right now, what about Jessica's physical safety? I'm sorry, but that takes priority. It's just ridiculous. This is one of the more ridiculous requests that I've had from a person. Not, like I said, it's not unusual for me to get completely cussed out after something, but for them to request, me basically do a video almost defending them, no. So that was a legitimate answer when I said, what about Jessica's physical safety, in response to her and her brother's physical safety. Again, I'm not condoning anything. You guys behave yourself. That's just my stand on that. And I even told her, my response was, it is not a smart remark, it is an honest question. She put, you don't even know her or anything about her life. Don't use her. Why don't you come up with a different way to ask a question or a different way to go about information? I put I feel like I might have cut one part of that out. I do remember that response. So that response was something along the lines of, you're messaging me asking me to put a video together sticking up for you and your brother right now with no evidence whatsoever. And then, do you realize how illogical that sounds? She put, you are uneducated and you failed to do the right things. I will no longer message you or have any things to say about you or your page. It's like, remind you that your brother vanished after Jessica died and is now being held in jail on a parole violation. She said parole violation out of a different county from a different time, nothing to do with the incident. And I put, I plan on talking to the district attorney office tomorrow. It is a pretty normal procedure to do a parole hold while a DA and police get their case together. And then I told her, and he is in San Francisco County Jail too. Which that's the name of the jail. It wasn't like a number 2. And then she just responded, well, there you go, Sherlock Holmes. I put, so again, do you want to tell me what your role was that day? People are saying you called 911 and told them it was a self-inflicted. Is there any truth to that? And that was when she stopped responding to me altogether. Now, remind you, again, the initial reason for this messaging was she told me that I reported false information and slander. And then through all of those screenshots, as you just saw, I asked her multiple times what slander, what part was wrong, what part was not correct. Let me know and I'll correct it. I've always been like that. I'll always say that. I have no problem releasing a correction article. If I got something wrong, let me know. But you also have to give me the proof to let me know. That's just how it works. I have to have some sort of proof that what you're telling me is true, especially when you're talking about something this serious and you're talking about the guy going on the run after her death. I mean, all of this, none of that adds up at all. So I don't know. That's where all of that is right now. I don't 100% know what to make of it. I would say that it's very suspect right now, just how she messaged me, how she responded to questions, all of that. The whole thing is suspect. I don't think that she knew. I mean, it almost seems like she didn't know that her brother was in San Francisco County Jail. Which, again, the incident happened at Jessica's apartment, which was in San Francisco. So we did do a ping on his phone and he was in Fairfield from what we could see, but I'm not sure exactly what went on with the arrest. Again, Saturday, Sunday are two pretty horrible days to try and get information out of places such as district attorney offices. So it's been working with what we have at the moment. So tomorrow, though, I do plan on getting with that district attorney office of San Francisco and see if I can't get a little bit more information. Again, somebody made a post earlier and they were just a little confused on the process. They said that they had called San Francisco County Jail and the guard didn't know that Clayton Rhoades or the Jessica Alva story or anything like that. But that's understandable. You're talking about just a prison guard, or not even a prison, a county jail guard. He's mainly handling like intake, most likely. So a lot of the time, these guards aren't gonna know a whole lot of people. I mean, they're gonna know what's on the screen in front of them, and not a whole lot outside of that. That's just how that is. It's San Francisco County Jail too. This guy might do 100 intakes a day, maybe a couple hundred intakes a day. So as far as just remembering a name and like, oh yeah, they're talking about doing these charges on him, that's most likely not going to happen. County jail guards are going to know what's on the screen in front of them. So with him not knowing if like he's going to be held on murder or anything like that, that's not shocking. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's just slipping through the system. Again, my take on the situation is that parole hold is being used for law enforcement and for the district attorney's office to put their case together and see if they have enough to charge him for the murder of Jessica Alva. Now, what will probably come from there is they will look at stuff like that, like did his sister Charlie call 911? Were they trying to make this look like a suicide? At this point, there's one of two things that happen. It was either a suicide or she was murdered. Now, by this point in the hospital, her entire family would be having to cover up that the hospital told them it was a suicide, which is not very likely. Jessica didn't just get taken into the hospital and was pronounced dead. She remained on life support for days. There was other injuries to her. There were multiple signs that this was not a self-inflicted injury. So that has to be remembered with any of these claims of the self-inflicted injury. That's the hospital. She was on life support in the hospital. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation or seen a loved one or anybody in a life support situation. They take a lot of care of you. They are over you. They know everything that's going on with your body. So that doesn't look like the situation whatsoever. I'll go ahead and do devil's advocate because we still right now everything is alleged, and we'll do a devil's advocate and say that of course it's possible, but the chances of it being are very, 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 very slim. I can't stress enough how slim those possibilities are. But again, we'll be fair and say that there is that chance that happened. I'm not going to entertain that idea very much whatsoever because I think it's pretty clear what actually happened here. The only parts that are kind of remaining is what exact role did his sister play in it, and is she going to be charged as well? So I don't know. That's where we are right now. I'm trying to keep you guys updated with this story all the way through. I'm trying to keep up with it as it moves along. Just mainly because I really feel think it's super shitty that they're not getting more coverage. Again, it's Cindy the mom's original post that was shared at least over 100,000 times. That deserved more coverage than it's gotten. It definitely deserves more coverage than what it's received. And I think it's really shitty that Facebook took her post down. Which, you know what, let's go ahead and throw her original post back up again for a minute. So I believe it was sometime today, the actual Cindy's original post got taken down. And from her post, it sounds like she was trying to argue Facebook on it and have it reevaluated. But you know, she put that picture, she put those pictures out there for a reason. She put that whole post out there for a reason, and it's to try and encourage other people, and I won't even just say women. I understand it's both. So men are abused too. Let's not even get in that argument. I get it. So we'll just go with people to make everybody happy. This was directed to show other people in abusive situations how wrong they can go and how quickly they can go. This is her attempt of trying to keep another mother from going through what they're going through, and or what she's going through, and to keep another family from having to go through what this family's going through right now. Because these situations, it seems hard, but you need to, I mean, you got to get out of these situations. These stories happen every day. If you're in a super abusive relationship, chances are it's not going to get better. Again, you can give somebody the benefit of the doubt, but it's, you know, again, it's one of those things. It is what it is. Oh, you know what? I'm really glad that I just saw that. Shit, you know what? I forgot about that. Let me see here. So there's also a GoFundMe started. And let me grab that link for you guys real quick. GoFundMe's been started to help out with burial costs and whatnot. And what I'll do is, let me find that link. I know I have it right around here somewhere. I just put it. It's also in the last article I did. That was Clayton Rhoades arrested. I do have the link in there, but I'll go ahead and grab that link real quick, and what I'll do is I'll pin it in the comments. Susie got it right there, but now I've already gone too far, so I'm still just gonna grab it real quick. Which, by the way, Susie there, she runs missing Indigenous women and children, missing flowers. At some point, I'm gonna get her on here to do an interview, because in general, and you know, I hate to say it, but it almost seems like, because this is Native Affairs, that it's gone so under the radar with everything. Missing Indigenous women, Native American women and children going missing is a ridiculous problem. If you want to talk about human trafficking and sex trafficking, that is a serious issue. And unfortunately, like the murder rate, the recovery rate, all that is ridiculously low on how many are recovered. It's a huge problem. It's a whole nother type of problem. And I just posted that link. Let me make sure I get that pinned. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I just pinned a link to the GoFundMe. So yeah, like I said, that goes towards, and here we can even take a look at the GoFundMe real quick before I end this. I'm not going to super drag this one out and go into some other things. I might go live again later and we can kind of play around, but this one I wanted to keep more directed to these two issues right here, especially the issue of Jessica's death. Let me see. Let's see if This one will do it. Oh, here, I'll move my ugly little mug real quick. So this GoFundMe, which does suck because not the GoFundMe sucks. The mom Cindy's original post being deleted, that could have really helped with this. It's raised over $6,000 so far, so that's awesome. And the family does know about this. The family has shared this out. This isn't any kind of fraud sort of thing. This is going to the family. And it reads, Jessica Nicole Alva has left this world to be with her creator. Jessica died as a result of an abusive domestic relationship. She leaves behind 6 children, her mother and father, her 3 siblings. Jessica was loved by all and gave love to everyone. She was dramatic and flamboyant and showed affection at all times. Her 2 youngest children and oldest daughter are in desperate need of thought and prayers, as are we all. She was very involved in her community and always put others before herself. She has been through a lifetime of hurt and abuse, and now she is able to finally be at peace. She loved her children more than anything in the world, and she was fighting to leave her situation for them, but she was held prisoner until her life was ended. Jessica did want help. Jessica was cut off from all help by the other person in the relationship, and this is Jessica today. The story has gone viral on Facebook and continues to gain momentum. We are asking for financial support in the immediate future and for the new future that is our families. There's some assistance, but there's a very low limit on the funds and availability and numerous needs not covered. The family is not local to the San Francisco area and are traveling hours and hours back and forth to get here. Jessica's story will survive. She will continue to touch the lives of people all around the globe. Jessica would want her story to save anyone out there who is scared to leave or thinking about it or feel like there's no other option. If you need help, please call the domestic violence hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or reach out to anyone and get out before it's too late. The cost for transporting the body is estimated at $15,000 alone. If everyone who has commented or shared donates $1, we can exceed the goal in one day. If you cannot donate in monetary form, please donate in faith, positivity, and prayers. All funds will be used with the utmost accountability and discretion, and all additional funds raised will be set up in a trust for her children and them alone. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, our family. So, like I said, that is the GoFundMe, and that link is pinned in the comments. So, it's a sad situation. It's a really, really sad situation, and it looks like, though, some closure is starting to come now that there is an arrest on Clayton. I would imagine there's a 99.9999% chance that they know who he is. They know everything that went on with Jessica. I don't think he's just slipping through the cracks of the legal system right at this point. But again, we should know more on that by, I would say, midweek. Hopefully, District Attorney's Office can give some sort of comment tomorrow. But I don't know. It was the weekend. With them telling them it was a suicide originally, it's going to be interesting to see what they've done, like investigation-wise and all that, since that's went on, and tried to clear all that up. But if anybody else has any more info, feel free to message me on this page. Like I said, I've been talking to multiple people already, and as this goes on, I'll go ahead and do my best to keep it updated, because I just don't feel like this story should slip through the cracks like it almost did. It shouldn't just be a viral post. It should be a warning. So I think it should be treated as such. I thank all you guys for watching, though. Feel free to follow the page if you appreciate this. If you want to help these lives keep on growing, there's a link up in the description that you can donate to that goes directly to all of this, lights and software, computer, electronic stuffs, all the technical stuffs that I need to put these together. And like I said, I might go live a little later, but this one I'm going to go ahead and end, and I'm going to cut this up and throw the videos over on YouTube and try and keep this one directly to this point. So I hope that clears up. Like, that's the best breakdown that I can give you right at this moment. He is in jail. People can stop worrying about that for the most part. Again, I'll call down to the district attorney office tomorrow and hopefully be able to give verification that they're moving forward with the charges related to Jessica's murder. Hannah J, yes, batteries. Batteries are life. Batteries are totally life. Thank you guys for watching, though, and I will see you guys again.